Yes, Sir Hairless here. Thank you to Juliana for this Patreon request. This is Turn the Page by GEOFF CASTELLUCCI. This is the latest GEOFF solo work at the time of recording. Also, at the time of releasing this video, I have actually done a video on the original song by Bob Seger. I didn't know it. Unfortunately, due to copyright, I'm having to wait until that one gets released. So, depending on when you're watching this, that video on the original may or may not be out. If it is, I'd of course recommend watching it because I go over how the music reflects the story that Bob is telling in these lyrics. And if my other video isn't yet out, well, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wait for that one. Anyway, if you're watching this, it's very likely you know who Geoff is and how he is musically. I can definitely imagine him singing this song. And if you don't know the original, here are the lyrics on the screen now. I think they're really interesting. A really interesting read, all about life on the road while touring. So let's get straight into this one and see what Geoff does with it.
On a long and lonesome highway east of Omaha,
Same key.
you can listen to the engines moaning out this one-note song. You think about the woman or the girl you knew the night before, but your thoughts will soon be wandering the way they always do. When you're riding 16 hours, there's nothing much to do. When you don't feel much like riding, you just wish the trip was through. Here I am, on the road again. There I am, up on the stage. There I go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page. So you walk into this restaurant.
Yeah, it's nice. In the video I did on the original song, I said I believe a lot of how the music is constructed is purposefully quite reserved, quite simple. There's no crazy harmonies, no crazy instrumentation. It's all about the lyrics and the story it's telling, and I said I think it should be relatable to your everyday person. It's a song by a superstar, a pop star touring, which is many people's dream, but they are human as well at the end of the day, and they go through the same mental, emotional struggles that humans do. Geoff, I think, is also doing something similar. He does have a few more complicated things in there, shall we say, just in terms of vocal harmonies and added layers. Overall, though, he is staying true to the original song, especially in terms of structure, harmony, singing in the same key as well. As this is a Geoff video, he is fine with copyright, so I'll probably just watch this whole thing, maybe do one or two more very short pauses, and then we'll go over some of the analysis at the end.
All strung out from the road, and you feel the eyes upon you as you're shaking off the cold. You pretend it doesn't bother you, but you just want to explode. Yeah, most times you can hear them talk, other times you can't. All the same old cliches. Is it woman, is it man? And you always seem outnumbered. You don't dare make a stand. Make your stand. Yeah, here I am, on the road again. There I am, up on that stage. There I go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page.
That section there where he's singing in multiple parts harmony with himself just shows so well something I always say, which is about singing in harmony with other people when it comes to how voices blend with each other. So many things come into play: the tuning, the timbre or the timbre, the texture of your voice. And I always say the best person to try and blend with is yourself. Now, that's not really a realistic possibility, is it? Unless you record yourself singing and then sing over it. And as with a cappella groups, when there are multiple people all singing together, that's why who you are singing with is so important. You're after the best group sound rather than just getting all of the best individual singers and shoving them together, because the likelihood is they might not work so well together. Anyway, I digress. This here, the sound sounds almost synthetic, almost not quite real, and that's just because Geoff blends so well with himself.
There I go, playing the star again.
It almost is more comparable to an instrument playing rather than human voices. Very cool sound.
Out there in the spotlight, you're a million miles away. Every ounce of energy you're trying to give away, as the sweat pours out your body, like the music that you play. Later in the evening, as you lie awake in bed, with the echoes of the amplifiers ringing in your head, you smoke the day's last cigarette, remembering what she said. Well, here I am,
Nice suspension
on the
there.
road again. There I am, up on the stage. There I go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page.
Real contrast of sections. We went from such a huge full sound to the opposite. Then all the voices come in. Really effective, because what also happened just then, the harmonies are now starting to become quite non-standard in the originals. Well, I'll touch on it in a bit actually, so let's carry on.
Yeah, here I am, on the road again. There I am, up on the stage. There I go, play the star again. There I go, there I go, there I go. And I'm gone.
Nice piano outro and then the spoken ending, quite different to the original song where the saxophone plays quite a big role. And then it proceeds to finish. Whereas here, where he's doing these 4 chords, E minor, D major, B minor, C major, so E, D, B, C, where they're kind of moving into each other like that. There's a lot to talk about with this one. It's quite a long one. So I'm going to try and combine some ideas that I have rather than just going through everything chronologically. I mean, I'll probably end up doing that anyway. But one of the main things, the most important things I think about this song, the original anyway, is the choice of chords. There are basically 3 chords in the whole song. We just saw E, D, B, C. You'll notice that's 4 chords. In the original song, the main 3 chords are, there's our E again and our D again, but then we get A. So those 3 together. Just to show you visually, here are the chords. The first line is just E. The second line is just D. The third line is just A. And these 3 chords repeat all the way through. Anyway, those 3 chords are such a huge part of the infrastructure of the original song. Geoff by adding in other chords, is leaving us with these other chords. It's a slight transformation, subtle too, not the most obvious, but I think it's enough to really leave you with this different idea of the same song. Just to show you that idea of those 3 chords, what Geoff does, he's in the same key, he uses these chords.
On a long and lonesome highway.
So there's that E chord, E minor.
You can listen to the engines
The D chord,
out this one-note song.
D major. And then the 3rd line, we are expecting an A chord.
You think about the woman,
which we do get. Let's listen to the original song though at this point. You'll notice Geoff's version might sound a little bit sadder.
You can think about the woman or the girl you knew.
Why is that? Well, Geoff is singing down the octave, so I think that just naturally gives a bit more of a sadder feel. Things seem a bit slower and everything, but we do still have an A chord, but Geoff is doing the minor version of that chord. So in the original, there we go, A major. Geoff changes the 3rd note from the major 3rd to the minor 3rd. So the difference now is a majority shift. The original song, the 3 chords are minor, major, major. That's 2 to major, 1 to minor. Geoff's minor, major, minor. 2 to minor, 1 to major. It's a very reserved piano part. We can hear the lower notes ringing out, and then obviously the upper part has the melody, very rhythmic. Not over the top though, it's just giving us some kind of movement. We do get some sort of percussion or beat in the drum pedal.
There's nothing much to do when you don't feel.
Drum pedal, bass pedal, sorry. I was mentioning in the original there's something similar with just the occasional hi-hat.
You can think about the one.
So Geoff is very clearly taking inspiration from the original version, but putting his own little touch on things in a slightly different way. What's one obvious way for him to add his own touch? Insert more Geoffs.
Here I am on the road again. There I am.
The purpose here is simply to fill out the harmony. You know, we're getting hums, no words, no homophony. They're not singing the same words at the same time, at the same rhythms as the melody. I suppose they are with each other, but it's something we often see with voice play, starting off with ums and then the words come in later on. This is exactly what happens here as well, from an oo to the lyrics.
I go, playing the star again.
Full homophony. There's not one of the Geoffs singing something slightly different in terms of rhythms.
And there I go.
But then one breaks away and then the others join afterwards. Definitely a progression from the first time they all come in. And then later on, what happens?
Yeah, here I am on the road again.
Geoff showing off his massive range there. Excuse that voice crack. His massive range, still homophonic. How can we make it a bit different? Sing higher, you know?
Stage, there I go.
And we have this really distorted low. I don't even know what you'd call it. I mean, in terms of structure, it is the bass note. It's super low down and it has a pitch, but it sounds just like a... I don't know if you'll be able to hear it without headphones, but in the headphones, it almost is vibrating my brain. So obviously the sound is much fuller now, but also the tension and the intensity is being increased by other means, such as having these noises in there. And the harmony. He's changed the harmony here a little bit. Overall, it's the same, but we have a new passing chord here that we can hear. But again, it's this distorted, vibrating sound, almost to remove the obviousness of this new chord in a way. Now back. Another new chord here. Nice clash here. And combined with that, there's a rising chromatic bass line, which allows for that little funky chord that we had in there. And then it should rise again. So we get this note here, we know is going to rise. This is called harmonic preparation, and especially when it's chromatic, it makes us think, oh, it's going to keep moving in that direction. But Geoff delays it. You can hear it in the bass. And then it finally rises up, but as it rises up, Geoff takes that opportunity to sink way down. It's basically a tease in the world of harmony, giving us a rising chromatic bass line, and then when it reaches the top, the final destination, Geoff does the opposite. He goes down. If you enjoy these videos or find them helpful, please consider supporting me. Patreon has a bunch of exclusive benefits, behind the scenes videos, additional reaction content, Q&A videos, and more. For a one-time donation, you can donate me a hot chocolate at the Buy Me a Coffee link, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. And a huge thank you to these lovely people on the screen now. It might be no surprise that he is honouring the original though. In my video on the original song, I do mention that Bob seems to enjoy adding in chromatic inflections here or there, and I think it gives the song quite a bluesy sort of style. We can definitely hear that in Geoff's version as well, but he is mixing modern technology with a more traditional blues sound. And I like it. Also, in these moments of full sound, if we listen to the intrinsic rhythms that we're hearing, we get clicks as well, but in the beat, there's always something happening. At every sub beat, there's something happening, something sounding. Of course, this is made more noticeable due to contrast. With the original song, I noticed that the whole song seems to have this idea of constant progression throughout. Why that's so feasible, why it works so well. The song, for many reasons, is quite simple. I think it's to add more emphasis on the lyrics. If we don't have loads going on to focus on, loads of different instruments, loads of different harmonies, we focus more on the few things we are hearing, one of which will be the lyrics. In Geoff's version, as we've seen in the bigger bits, obviously there is more going on. There is more to listen to. But he starts off so reduced, so reduced.
On a long and lonesome highway east of Omaha.
It's the very first thing we're hearing with this performance, with this song. Geoff is obviously very famous for his voice. He gives us the chord, so we have the harmony, but that's it. Nothing else. There are no extra rhythms. It's just his voice and the lyrics that we are listening to. And then, as we spoke about before, in between verses, nice little piano part just to add something in there. Now the texture thickens, we can hear more instrumentation coming in.
The way they always do.
The piano part is more rhythmic, which allows for some lower parts to take over the sustained role the left hand in the piano had before. We were speaking about blues style. Let's fast forward about a minute. The guitar. Yeah, so important. I love the rhythms that people create with the guitar, with finger plucking style. It's so cool. And then,
so you walk into this restaurant, all strung out.
The clicks are coming in, all these other different types of percussive sounds. The camera changes to red. I like it because these are fairly subtle changes, all things considered. And I'll keep going back to my idea that this song is purposefully simple, all things considered, because of its subject matter. I think it should be relatable to people. It's not an exotic song. It's not glamorous. Look at the set here for Geoff. Really as bare as you can get. Lights, piano, multiple Geoffs, a few stools, not even a stool for everyone. He could have had 3 other stools, but no, there's only 2. No furnishings otherwise, no colors, just a black studio. Things are as simple, as bare, as minimal as they can be. Again, forcing all of our attention pretty much to be on the music and in turn on the lyrics, on the message of the song. And at some of these thicker moments when there's just a lot of sounds going on, I'm now just hearing these violins at the top. So there are just so many layers, so many different instruments and different types of sound. Vocal, strings bowed, strings plucked, strings hammered on the piano, percussion, you know? That war-like bassy sound, very synthetic, very modern. Kind of like a massive ship's horn. Intense. So in this arrangement, we've had everything really. Intensity, calmness, a lot of sound, not much sound. I think overall though, because of the variety we get in this one, which is far greater than in the original song, it's definitely a more intense take on the original song. One of my favorite things with the original song is the progression, the idea of growth through it. At the end, things are just much more in terms of everything than they are at the start. And because the song is simple, there's only 3 chords basically repeated all the way through, I'm happy for that progression, because otherwise I think things could get a bit samey. Geoff has not kept things samey, but he's done so through slightly different means. Well, there we go, Geoff's take on Bob Seger's Turn the Page. A new song to me, the original and obviously Geoff's version as well. Similar in many ways to each other, but also very, very different. Let me know down below which version you prefer, Geoff's or Bob's. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Would appreciate a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time.